I turned down my sister's offer to cover the cost of the gender reveal. My girlfriend, 26, and I, 29, found out in August that we were expecting our first child. Most people were really pleased with the news. I was in shock at the time, so I called my mother for reassurance. It really helped. She wasn't happy that I told her over a phone call, which I get and respect. I said sorry, and we moved on. My sister has been really helpful. She assisted us with moving to a new house and plans to take my partner out for baby shopping soon. My mother wasn't very helpful. In mid-August, we had a FaceTime call about housing options. During that call, my mother unexpectedly asked if my partner was on the pill. I agreed, and I watched her take it. She then asked if I was certain. It felt as if she was suggesting that I was trapped by a baby. I am concerned about my sister. I'm glad she's excited, but at times, it feels overwhelming. She mentioned having the baby every weekend so we could spend time together as a couple, and I pointed out that we need to think about both families. She was worried about us relocating closer to my girlfriend's family instead of mine. She mentioned that I wouldn't receive as much support and would question the support from my partners since her mother lives 2 hours away. I mentioned that she visits her mother with dementia every weekend, so we'll be okay. My sister said she would cover the cost of our gender reveal scan. We both agreed it was a nice gesture. My sister wanted to come since she's the one paying for it. My sister mentioned that the place she was booking could accommodate up to 5 people and suggested we invite our mom too. I said that if she's coming, then my girlfriend's mom should come as well. She didn't agree because it's the only time they'll be involved during the pregnancy, and my girlfriend's family will be at other events. We mentioned that it's not about who is there, but about having support during a personal appointment, and my girlfriend prefers not to have just my family present. My mom said it's either just my family or no scan at all. I agreed, we'll cover the cost ourselves. My sister messaged my girlfriend to explain her reasoning, and it made her cry. She mentioned that my family prefers to do things on their own and can be somewhat antisocial. They believe that meeting my girlfriend's mom at the scan will be uncomfortable. This reasoning seems selfish and doesn't prioritize our wishes. My mom and sister are helping me see their point of view. I get it, I just don't see it that way. My girlfriend's mom doesn't care that they don't want her around. She's more concerned about how it's impacting our relationship. She said not to worry about them and gave me a hug. She mentioned she's willing to cover the cost and told me to invite anyone I choose. I'm posting this because even though we've agreed on many things, I still have doubts since my sister was supposed to pay for it. I thought about my dad, but my girlfriend's mom thinks that would upset my family. Is that you, Ida? Here's some additional information to clarify a few points. The phone call with my mom wasn't about her being upset that I told her over the phone. She was happy and said congrats, depending on our decision to keep it at that moment. We discovered she wasn't really happy when we recorded my sister's reaction. At that event, I mentioned to my mother that I was driving to my dad's to see him the next day. My mom believes my dad could do more for me. We meet in person infrequently, maybe once or twice a year, but we get along well. It was his first time as a grandfather, while it was my mother's 4th time. My sister has 3 children already. She really wants a 4th of her own, but my bill keeps saying no. When I brought it up, my mom suggested just FaceTiming him. I said no, and then she asked if he gets a live surprise while I just get a phone call. I explained that I needed some initial support and apologized for her finding out like this. People want to know what's going on with my dad. He and my mom have been divorced for 24 years. He treated my mother poorly, and my stepmother created distance between my dad and me. My dad has been absent for a few years now. I explained the situation to him, and he thinks they're being unreasonable. People tell me I need to be stronger, and I've been working on that in therapy. As a kid, I was seen as someone who might have autism. My mom didn't want to get me assessed because she believed I should learn with the other kids who were considered typical. This didn't work because I kept doubting myself, and with my sister pointing out my mistakes, it just kept lowering my confidence. After my breakup at 23, I fell into a deep depression and finally sought help. Doctors told me I didn't have autism. Instead, I had more anxiety. My mom and sister are pushing me to do it because they believe I'll receive more support. Connecting it to the things mentioned here, it seems like grooming. I have pushed back multiple times, asking to be left alone. I received comments about my actions being related to autism, and I told them to stop. My sister has 2 children with autism and 1 with ADHD. She also works for an autism charity. I started taking Prozac after I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression. I was with an ex once and noticed some subtle controlling behaviors. We didn't end up working out after that. My family supported me with this, but I've noticed that narcissistic people often clash with each other. They tend to try to expose one another to appear superior. Growing up was tough for me. There was constant nitpicking, but at the same time I felt some genuine care. My mom has been through abusive relationships and has mourned the loss of a partner, so I attributed her strange behavior to that. My sister experienced a stillbirth. There's a comment in this thread that details a list of things my sister did a few years back that led to her not attending my mom and stepdad's wedding. I'm with an amazing person to start a family. It's unfortunate that my family couldn't be supportive, but she and our baby are my priority. We need each other above all else. No one is telling us who should take care of them or anything like that. I confronted my mom about her comments regarding the baby trap. She apologized to me, but not to my partner, who heard the whole thing. Since that time, she has kept her distance. As I write this, I can't help but question why I'm allowing her to come to the scan if my partner's mom is going to be there after everything that's happened. My mom often takes back what she says. She'll say something that annoys or upsets someone, then claims it was just a joke. I told her there was backpedaling, but she denied it. I think my mom's strange opinions about distancing from my partner's family come from her own anxiety. We think she might be on the spectrum, but she doesn't accept it. There have been times when she experiences sensory overload, shows a strong interest in certain topics, especially conspiracy theories, sometimes lacks a filter, and has difficulty understanding other perspectives. My sister seems to want to be viewed as the best guardian, maybe even a parent, and she views her family as a threat. Update 1. My sister's response to my boundaries. Hey everyone, just a quick update. A lot has happened in the last 24 hours, and it's not good. Thanks to everyone for the advice. I really appreciated it. It's important to establish our boundaries now and stop any further manipulation. Some people were asking if a reveal scan was necessary. We just thought it would be nice for our first child. I get that not everyone will like it, but that's our choice. My sister called me on Sunday. I told her that my girlfriend should be able to invite whoever she wants. She mentioned how awkward it was at the scan, so I proposed we grab a coffee. She said she'd talk to my mom about it. My mom declined it and said it was too formal. She said, "I'm sure I'll meet them someday." She proposed that we do 2 separate scans for each family member. I declined this because I found it unappealing. My girlfriend is not an experiment for others to enjoy. So I told them we would make our own plans and invite whoever we want, or just keep it to ourselves. She became passive-aggressive and said, "Fine, do what you want." I've always been supportive, and my girlfriend will want her family there for everything. I told her that's not right, and she replied that she wants both families to be part of it. I knew they would keep trying to make offers for the scan, so I sent a detailed message to both of them in a group chat. I posted the screenshots on the Insane Siblings subreddit. You can find them on my profile. My sister tried to make me feel guilty in her reply. Once she said we should go our separate ways, I blocked her on all platforms. I won't let that kind of influence affect my life, and I won't put my girlfriend through it either, especially if they won't respect our boundaries. My mom called me shortly after and said my message came off as condescending, cold, and formal. She didn't get why I was overreacting about the scan. She said not to interrupt. I sent her a message that was similar to the one in the screenshot. I explained that it's not only the scan, but her overall involvement that concerns me. My sister clearly left out some details. She didn't know that my other sister wanted to take care of the baby every weekend and felt insecure about the support from my girlfriend's family. She suggested we all get together to talk. I'm not going to let them bully me. If I'm there to talk, I need someone supporting me. She mentioned she didn't want us to argue, but I told her it's up to my sister now. My mom is trying to keep the peace and has taken my sister's side, so I don't really trust either of them. My girlfriend and I scheduled our own scan, and we're hosting a reveal party next weekend. Everyone is invited. I'm not inviting my mom and sister at the moment. I told my dad what happened, and he's really upset with them. My sister and I have different fathers. Edit. I realize now that I shouldn't have apologized to my mom for how I delivered the news. She frequently mentions that my dad doesn't visit me, and it's usually me who goes to see him. My dad and I talk, and when I visit, he usually insists on paying for everything without any discussion. I appreciate this, so I buy rounds of beer or help pay for the takeaway. I'm content with the relationship I have with my dad. We've faced problems before, but we keep going. I re-uploaded a screenshot of a text message from my sister to my profile because it keeps getting removed from the sub for spam. Reddit kept removing the images, so I added an Ember link to them. Update 2. Hey, just wanted to give you an update on the scan. We made a reservation. Who goes is based on who wants to join. This isn't something she has said, it's something I've shared since she's the one carrying the baby. She wants support from both families, but disagreements about what we should manage have made it tough. It's our time and our family we're building, so we should be the ones making the choices. It's frustrating when someone tries to change our minds after we decline the extra conditions, especially without any willingness to meet first. It feels like overstepping, to be honest. We haven't talked much, Mom, but from what we've discussed, I think you both see things the same way. Future events like the shower will be single gatherings for close friends and family to attend. You can still come, including the reveal we have after the scan next weekend. We won't have 2 separate events for each family. It's more expensive and takes more time to set up and attend multiple events. There's no reason for either family to be left out of the events that we are creating together. Not spending time with family can be due to various reasons. You often disagree on many issues. I get along well with my family, though I might have disagreements with a couple of them. Who knows what could happen? Mom gets along well with the family. Other family members also have no problem being around them. This is more of a personal matter than an unspoken guideline. If you don't want to attend these events because family might show up, then skip them. It's disappointing not to see you there. These events are for our child, not to please anyone else. Just support us and respect our choices. No need to engage with her family. Her decision to distance herself from family is raising worries about the arrival of the baby. You mentioned that my family will provide better support than hers. It's not about who offers the best help. The strongest support a child can receive comes from us, the parents. I don't think one family is better than another. I care for and appreciate each person on their own. She wants support from her family as well. It seems like they're being judged unfairly without anyone really knowing them. And please don't text or call me about this. This is causing unnecessary stress for her during pregnancy, which isn't healthy for the baby. She cried when she saw your message because we just want this pregnancy to go well. If someone is telling us how to care for our own baby, that's not the kind of influence we need. We value support, but we prefer not to have too much involvement in this. This is what we want and what makes us happy. Please respect that. The sister really hurt us. I can't breathe because I'm crying so much. It is extremely cold. You have misunderstood a lot, but that's how it is. I wish you the best. I will always love you, but I believe this is where we go our separate ways. Update 3. When your mom supports your sister's behavior. I shared a story about Ida and the message I sent to both of them. I took advice from the subreddit, my dad, and my girlfriend. It started when my sister offered to pay for a gender reveal scan for us. We agreed at first, but then she wanted my mom to join. I said no, because it would be all my family there and none of my girlfriends, which didn't seem fair to me. My sister tried to convince me that it's something special for them to be involved, since my girlfriend will mostly have her family around for the rest. We haven't left them out of anything. They really don't want to have anything to do with my girlfriend's family. I made it clear in the message yesterday that we want everyone to feel included, but we're not expecting anyone to be friends. I was told right away that my message was cold and it made her cry, which led to us parting ways. This isn't the first time she's acted this way. She displayed concerning behavior throughout the entire pregnancy. A few years back, she said some really hurtful things to me when she got hooked on prescription pills, like how I didn't cry at her daughter's funeral. She experienced a stillbirth when I was 16. It was a difficult period, but it wasn't good for my well-being. They insisted I get an autism diagnosis, saying my struggles are much greater than those of others. If I made a small mistake, like dropping a candy wrapper or accidentally using my aunt's towels, she would really let me have it. I've discussed all of this in therapy, especially CBT. There was always a conflict between the genuine help she offered and what my mom would do at times. It always seemed like there was an expectation for something in return. If I ever said no, she'd remind me of everything she does for me and call me selfish for not complying. I wasn't great at remembering things, especially birthday gifts. As an adult, she would ask me for money and got upset when I expressed my concern about her frequent requests. She mentioned that if I gave her money, I could think of it as a birthday present for her other daughter. She has 3 children. My mom had a difficult relationship with my dad, which I heard was abusive. I noticed signs, but my father denies it whenever I bring it up. They split up when I was 5. It's odd that right now, my dad is putting no pressure on me at all and saying it's my baby, my choice. She was in another abusive relationship that lasted around 4 years. After that, she had a partner who died from a drug overdose. Now, she has been married to my stepdad for 8 years. Life was tough for her. I was an untidy kid. I avoided cooking in the kitchen because I didn't want to make a mess. Everything had to stay clean. When I tried to express my thoughts, she would cut me off and say she didn't want to argue. Whenever I asked her to pick me up from somewhere, she would complain, so my sister usually took care of it. She would always skip any school trip that required parents to come along, leaving me on my own while another parent had to take care of me. She missed picking me up from school a few times because she was sleeping. She disapproved of a friend I spent time with and asked me to inform him that he wasn't invited to a gig we were attending. His parents didn't like me after that. Even as an adult, when I'm upset by something she's done, she'll give a half-hearted apology, call me, and ask if I'm calm now. A family friend passed away and left his house to my mom and her 2 sisters in his will. It was sold. One of my aunts gave £5,000 to her 2 kids. My sister asked about this and mentioned that our mom said she put it aside for us as a rainy day fund. I really don't know what to believe from my sister, to be honest. My mom hasn't mentioned anything about the money. It's not about the money. It's about the trust that's missing and being treated like I'm foolish. Now, here we are. My mom called me yesterday after I sent a message to both of them. She said my message came off as condescending and asked what the big deal about the scan is. My sister probably called her and didn't mention the pressure to get us to change our minds and everything else. She really trusts my sister's message, even after their fallout a few years back. My sister took £5,000 from her car for random purchases, stole £200 from my nan for prescription drugs online, tried to use my mom's house for an affair, and said other hurtful things. My mom asked me to meet her and my sister for coffee to talk things over. But there's really nothing to discuss except an apology and respecting our boundaries, and they can't even manage that. Update 4. Since my last update, my mom and sister have reached out to me through text. I took £50 from my sister to get my car fixed. My girlfriend and I were busy moving when my tire blew out. Perfect timing. I told her I would repay her when I got paid. That was Thursday. She texted me asking for the money back and mentioned that I sent it and that she has kids to feed. They're trying to paint me as a thief. I thought she was just trying to provoke me, so I quietly returned the money and moved on. I want to keep my distance from her, but I'm not a criminal. She texted my girlfriend, even though I clearly told both of them in my long message on Imgur not to contact her about this. The message said she hopes the scan went well. She thinks it was this weekend for some reason, even though she was supposed to book it for the 15th, and we have it scheduled for the 15th. She advised her not to be upset about any of this and wants us both to be happy. I think she's trying to get information, and it seems like she prioritizes the baby over our relationship. My girlfriend is not replying. My grandmother messaged me earlier this week. Due to problems with Reddit uploading my images, I'm sharing the chat contents here. I usually stay out of things, but I care about everyone and want to fix this. My sister knew everyone at school, and I went to every meeting with her because she gets shy around new people. I was like her safety net. Now I've taken a step back. Please, let's mend this rift. I think she understands that. You need space. She's breaking her heart. Hold out your hand. Her intentions were good. You made your point. She really cares about you and thinks highly of my girlfriend. I hope you can fix this rift for me. I waited a day. Then I responded that it's not my place to cause conflict. I don't want any family breakups, but I need my space. I've been hurt and controlled too often, and I won't tolerate it any longer. My nan said she gets it and won't choose sides. My mom texted me yesterday morning to check if I'm okay. She thought the scan was this weekend and mentioned she's away, so she can't be there. She wanted to come, but is now out of town, which is kind of funny. She wanted to meet up during the week to talk. They don't seem to feel any regret for what happened.